So to the degree we are absorbed, to that degree we can, and to the degree we are absorbed, to that degree we are protected. So therefore, bhakti is not about a fair weather, game. That okay, the weather is fine and the weather is fair, I will play. And the weather is not fine, I will not play. The point is that if we don't play when the weather is fine, we will play when the weather is fair. Reconciling with this material world is going to be intolerable in every fabric. Therefore, a sadhaka has to be determined and steady. Understanding my only weapon against uh, this negativity, against these obstacles, my only weapon is my absorption in devotional service. If I do that, we will be able to tolerate. We will be able to carve a way out. If we do not do that, we will get crushed. Into the oblivion. That's what is going to happen to us. Nothing else. Nothing else. Just like a student, he understands that a tough exam means more preparation. What to prepare? Same book. The book is not different. Same book. So it's an easy exam, maybe a superficial read is enough to answer question. A very easy exam. Tough exam, the superficial read may not be sufficient. One may have to read 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. One may have to practice again and again. Same problem, same book. There's no difference in that. So therefore, Shastras are the book of life, and the preparation is devotional service. The preparation is devotional service. So this propensity, this struggle, or this struggle to cling on, is what is called as is called as steadiness. Struggle to cling on. Same preparation, nothing new is required. So many times as devotees, sadhakas, we may get baffled. So one scenario may say, okay, now we don't have resources, funds are not coming, people are not supporting. What should we do? We have to do the same thing, devotional service, a little more properly, is it not? More intensely, till it hits. More intensely practice, same morning program. No more intensely go and distribute books, same books, proper books. And more vigorously start preaching program, same preaching. No difference. Intensity. That intensity is required. So therefore, bhakti is all about intensity. On a superficial note, the same principle may give us a hollow experience, but on an intense note, the same principle will liberate us. That is bhakti. That is steadiness. Now, self-control is about channelization. Self-control. Prabhupada gives a beautiful definition. Prabhupada says self-control means to check ourselves from everything which is detrimental to Krishna consciousness, progress in Krishna consciousness. So now when what we talk about, so self-control and renunciation, those are two similar, both are similar qualities. Prabhupada explains renunciation also in the same way. That which is favorable we accept, that which is unfavorable we reject. So control is all about channelization. Self-control and renunciation is not about so abnegation is not self-control. Similarly, indulgence is not breach of self-control. Self-control is about channelization. Directionality is very important. And this is where sometimes sadhakas fumble. This is where sometimes sadhakas fumble. So whether or not to engage in a particular activity, whether or not to engage in a particular activity, it does not define whether it is sense intelligence or sense control. It's a directionality which makes it all. So if the engagement in Krishna consciousness, if the engagement in a particular activity is favorable to Krishna consciousness, then engagement is self-control. But if it is a detrimental activity, then abnegation is self-control. That is the principle. Therefore, in one of the Bhagavatam purports, Prabhupada explains that everything must be utilized in the service of Krishna. Everything can be utilized in service of Krishna. Prabhupada explains this in Bhagavad Gita. Everything can be utilized in service of Krishna. And when Prabhupada is explaining, this is chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, that everything has its utility in service to Krishna, but everybody will not be able to do that. Therefore, it behooves one to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master who is expert in guiding, or who is expert in channelizing everything in Krishna service. So one should take shelter of an expert spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. So there Prabhupada says that. And Bhagavatam, another place Prabhupada is telling, Srila Prabhupada says that you see, everything in this way can potentially serve Krishna. Everything can be used in service of Krishna, and that way everything can glorify Krishna in a magnificent way, in a splendid way, actually. So now if it is possible to serve Krishna in a particular way, and one refrains from that, under the name tag of renunciation, or then such an attitude is an incomplete attitude. Such an understanding is incomplete understanding. Such a surrender, Prabhupada says, is an incomplete surrender. Such a surrender is incomplete surrender. So therefore, our Acharyas explain the definition of surrender is to use everything. And therefore, in prayers of Acharya, so many times we can see the Acharyas are telling, I want to offer everything to you, Krishna, body, mind, words, intelligence, emotions, feelings, everything I want to offer. Means what? Means the service to Krishna has to be enacted on every dimension. And therefore, if there is a dimension where service to Krishna can be enacted and we don't touch it, it's incomplete surrender. It's incomplete surrender. The self-control, therefore, is about channelization. It's about channelization. So therefore, a sadhaka should see that what propensities are there in us, those propensities which get hooked towards the material energy, because of which we get hooked to the material energy. So we should spot that out in the first place. That okay, because of which propensity I'm getting hooked to the material energy, that aspect of material energy. Then now propensity needs a flow. Propensity needs vent. Propensity needs a vent actually. Propensity needs a vent. So now one has to pinpoint that propensity, and now one has to learn how that propensity has to be used in Krishna service. Now, if we don't do that homework, devotional service is going to be tough for us. The practice is going to be tough for us. Why? Because there is a dimension which we are not utilizing in Krishna service, and rather that dimension is a hook for us, like that. So better to be hooked. So better than to be hooked is to engage in service. Now this is not. Now many times some devotees feel that this is a concession. This is a concession which is given. It's actually not required, but nothing else can be done, and therefore we are doing something at least. We need to understand. We need to understand this is not just a concession. This is not just a concession. This is devotional service. Because the definition of this is surrender. This is actually what is called as Sharanagati. Because the definition of Sharanagati also goes similar. You point out the hooks and remove the hooks. Point out the hooks and remove the hooks. That is called as that's one of the definitions of surrender, Sharanagati. To reinstate in that which is favorable in Krishna consciousness. And to take oneself out. How do we take oneself out? We have to take oneself out by force, by struggle. That struggle gives that force. The struggle gives that force to take us out. We're caught up, we're entangled, we have that which is in something which is detrimental. So how do we get entangled actually? How do you get entangled? So how do we get entangled? So if you see, this, the bottle is there, the top of the bottle is there, so this is liberated, and this bottle energy, how does it get entangled? Now it's not coming out, it's not moving, it's not coming out. Applying force, it's not coming out. How is it getting entangled? Now we may say material energy has these hooks, like that. Therefore, it entangles people. Material energy has these screws and threads, and because of that hook, it gets entangled. No, it has these grooves. But metal energy has grooves. We also have threads inside, is it not? And these threads cannot be neglected. These threads cannot be neglected actually. We also have these threads inside which cannot be neglected. And therefore, when these threads go into the metal energy grooves, we are not able to practice. The practice becomes very difficult. Why? Because these threads have got entangled. Now what to do with these threads? What to do with these threads? First of all, we have to recognize that there are these threads. So these threads, so we have to see a channelization. We have to see what are spiritual grooves where these threads can go and fit. To do this homework is the definition of Sharanagati actually. And therefore, one should see self-control and renunciation with that perspective. One should see that. That is the perspective with which we should see actually. So therefore, everything has to be evaluated from the standpoint of intensity and absorption in Krishna consciousness. The definitions are not straight cut. It has to be evaluated from this aspect of intensity actually. Otherwise, what happens? One may say, no, it says that devotional service very powerful, or devotional activity is very powerful. Then it can wash off everything. It can redefine trenches. So no doubt devotional service is very powerful. Now, there are 2 points you have to consider. First of all, it is in the definitions of devotional service only, it states that utilizing everything in service of Krishna. So why and how and why to stick on to something for which we are not getting a hook? We are not getting a hook. We are not getting fixity. So if we add more substance in it, then only it gets to fixity. Is it not? Then only it gets to fixity. So this is the point. This is the first point which you have to understand. This is the first point that you have to understand. So this is the first point we have to understand. Uh, the second principle is that many times Shastras are talking about a jump. The Shastras are telling, just dive into devotional service, just take it, so whenever we have to understand, whenever the Shastras are talking about a jump, that jump is an attitude and determination. That jump is an attitude and determination. That jump is not, activities have to flow in a systematic trajectory. The activities have to flow into the systematic trajectory, and those trajectories need to fit in. Need to fit in. Just like, say, for example, you will see in Bhagavatam, in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, the Rishabdev section, actually, Lord Rishabdev's activities are completely eccentric and out of box. And Prabhupada very strongly and very clearly speaks in the purport, these activities are not at all to be imitated. There are many people who imitated these activities and they have started different trends and different trends of practices, but they are absolutely unauthorized. Prabhupada explains that. Prabhupada explains, and it happened even after who came after Rishabdev, who just imitated Rishabdev. And Prabhupada heavily condemned the descendants of Lord Rishabdev, that section comes. No? And Prabhupada said, this is how, huh? Who? Arhati. Arhat. Yes. And Prabhupada very strongly condemned, so warns against that. So now we may say, what is that? One can just jump and have a hyperbolic practice, like Lord Rishabdev was having a very hyperbolic kind of practice. The problem is very few people will be able to do it properly. Others will try to imitate and do it without substance, and then that same activity will do havoc. This kind of havoc was happening at the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when the Babajis, some so-called Babajis, they were doing illicit activities and illicit relationships, and in namesake their Babajis externally. So this is the problem which happens actually. The whole game is going to become very shabby, very shabby. So therefore, things have to fit in. Things have to fit in. Therefore, Prabhupada said, devotee has to be gentlemanly. Why? Because you have to fit in into the society. If you don't fit in, how will it give a road for people to come to Krishna consciousness? Now you may say, okay, what about my Krishna consciousness? Yes, from the other side also it's very true. If we don't fit in, we won't be able to practice for long. It will turn out to be a shabby practice. And therefore, we need to identify all these so all potentialities in which we can serve Krishna, all the propensities which are creating a hook for us in the material energy, channelize them in Krishna's service. So Krishna's service has to be enacted on every dimension. If we leave some grounds, if we neglect and leave some grounds, that is exactly where Maya is going to attack. This is warfare going on. Any direction you leave, and therefore people no, the military, they have everything. No, they have air forces, they have water forces, they have ground forces. Is it not? They have forest warfare forces, guerrilla forces. Is it not? So any place we leave, Maya is going to attack from there itself. That is and therefore a sadhaka has to be therefore a sadhaka has to be very much focused on channelization, that every frontier and Krishna's glory service should be established. We'll stop here. We'll continue again in our next class.
How can we ensure that utilizing this propensity in the service of Krishna, our absorption is not happening? We are not devotional service.
Yes. So the question is that, okay, how to ensure that our propensity is taking us towards Krishna or away from Krishna? We will see that. So first of all, nothing is without guidance. We have we see examples of devotees who successfully utilize that propensity, and they are very stable in devotional service. On a day-to-day setting also, we can realize, if we are properly channelizing everything in Krishna service, you will see our taste for Krishna Katha will increase, our taste for holy name will increase, our taste for Vaishnava Seva will increase. These are three important test pointers actually. These three things have to increase. If we are doing things rightly in a balanced way and it is positive, then you will see these three tests will increase. If they are not increasing or they are decreasing, that means that there is some contamination which has entered our hearts. That means that our dovetailing and all has not manifested properly. There is something wrong. Then we have to then we have to go to an expert who can actually do a surgical examination and give us that, okay, this is where the problem is. So this is what we have to understand. These three tastes should increase. One's taste for holy name has to increase. One's taste for Sankirtan has to increase. One's taste for deities should increase. One's taste for hearing should increase. One taste for service increasing, like that. So one should be more eager for the next Rath Yatra, है ना? That we have to evaluate. Okay, what was I 2 3 years back? है ना? What am I now? It's not that if it is that okay, 4 years back I was like for Rath Yatra, I was like oh no, it was jumping up and down, and now I'm okay, it will come, it will go, agam apai no anitya tam sitikshva sabharata, that means something colossally wrong with us actually, colossally wrong with us. That's how there is some colossally wrong disease. Better we get operated, you know. So, this is the point actually. We have to understand, This is the point. So let's stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Bhagavad Gita ki jai.